Hey, what's up, everybody? I wanted to do a quick live just because I haven't been able to do anything with you guys lately. So I wanted to go over a few things with you guys that I learned myself during dating and what I would love to share with you guys. I wanted to show you what a dependent relationship looks like, right? So this is the kind of relationship that most people have. But before I do that, I want you to tell me, what kind of relationship do you think you have? Do you think you have an A, H, or if you guys can't see, which is probably my fault, W relationship? Okay. So these are all relationships. Which one do you have? I'll tell you that most of my life, my relationships were like this. And the reason they were like this was because I was basically leaning, so that's my head, right? And the other person was leaning on me, and we were holding hands. So, I mean, it seemed okay, but see, what would happen was if one of us decided to stand up straight, like, let's say he decides to stand on his own 2 feet, that he can do this on his own, right? What would happen is I would fall on my face. So it would go from this to him standing on his feet and me completely falling on my face. So that kind of relationship is a very codependent relationship where 2 people are leaning on each other to make each other happy, to basically get through the day, right? That's the you complete me relationship, the, I can't live without you relationship, the, oh my God, if you leave, my life falls apart relationship. That's what that relationship was. Okay? All right, so now H is the relationship between 2 people that are staring directly at each other, right? So it's you, that person, you guys are a perfect balance. You guys are literally looking face to face, standing upright, and you're not crossing like A is, right? So here we are. This is literally one of the best relationships to have. Great relationship to have, which is 2 people looking directly at each other and being a support to one another and not leaning against each other for anything, right? I mean, of course, in relationships, we do lean on each other for things, but you can't make it to where if one moves up and stands upright and it can hold their own, one falls on their face. You can't have that kind of relationship. It's just not healthy. It's just not good. It won't be long lasting. And then it just puts a lot of pressure on the other person. Now, the W relationship. This is one of my favorites because people don't like to talk about it. It's essentially the A, where 2 people are leaning against each other, and then because it's too hard of a burden to handle, they find some other people. But these people are like distant. These are the what ifs. These are the open relationships. These are the people that watch us go through all this drama and they kind of just see from far away, and we include them when we are going through it. Okay? So we include them. We want to have little affairs with them. And before you know it, it's just a we. It's just all of us together. So do you see how A and W just look like a lot of people's relationships? I had this relationship before, and I had this relationship before. And I feel like once I realized that I didn't want to just date because I was lonely, and I didn't want to just date because I wanted someone to love me, it started making sense. Like, this board probably doesn't make sense to a lot of people because they're thinking, well, you know, I'm okay with leaning on my partner. But at some point, leaning on each other gets to... not only does it get hard, but the expectations are just... they become limitless. Like, you expect them to be able to be 100% when you're not 100%. They're 25%. Usually the people in these relationships is this one is 25% and this one's 25%, or this one's 50 and this one's 50. But see, what happens when this goes down to just 15%? Or what happens when this goes down to 25% as well? Where are you guys going to take from? Where are you guys going to take from? You expect to make 100 with this? You really expect to make 100 with this? I mean, yeah, 50-50, that's fine. But then what happens if I'm not 100? What happens if I'm not 50%? Am I supposed to suck the energy of the other person who's literally 50% like me and then leave them at 25% while I become a 50 again? That's completely unfair and uncalled for. It's very unfair and uncalled for. I don't know if you can see the board, but I really have a crappy setup right now because I'm actually turning the front part of our home into an office. So bear with me, y'all. So let's talk about an H relationship. I'm sorry if you can't. Maybe I should zoom a little bit. There you go. So let's talk about H relationship. H relationship is perfect. It's literally the best relationship. You guys are both 100%. You guys are both 100%. Both of you guys. You guys not only are balanced, you guys understand each other. You guys are equal in a sense of emotionally, maybe financially as well. But there's a balance here. Maybe you guys are not necessarily equal, but balance is what's key. So do yourself a favor and study the kind of relationship you're in. Study the kind of relationships that you're in right now. If your relationships are looking like two people that are leaning on each other, you're most likely in a relationship. If your relationships are where two people are facing each other, you're in a H relationship. You guys are balanced. You guys are doing great. If you're in a W relationship, it means there's you, there's that other person leaning on each other. And because you guys don't want to let go, you guys don't want to break up, you guys want to continue to make this relationship that totally sucks work, somewhere along the lines, boom, another person gets added on. It might not be necessarily sexual. It could be just like emotional dependency on someone else because this partner can't fulfill it. Or maybe financial dependency because this partner can't fulfill it. And of course, you giving all that energy to this person, then it starts happening to your other partner. And you guys start drifting into this maybe poly, unfaithful relationship. Okay? I'm sorry that I write so messy. I write like a doctor. But it's important that we know what kind of relationships we're having, what kind of what kind of letter relationship we're having. And I'm noticing a lot in the dating scene that people are just dating while they're lonely. Okay, so one of my friends said, well, I'm not lonely. I wasn't lonely. I was dating, and guess what? I actually have a lot of people that say that. I wasn't lonely. I was dating. I was happy. Everything was great. And it's like, I get it. Hey, what's up, J-Star? Hey, Janae. Hey, Rico. It's okay to be honest with yourself. Sometimes you can be in a relationship with somebody or dating, and while you're dating, you're still lonely. Like, I have been in parties before where I've been at parties before where I'm not feeling it. I could be really happy in certain aspects of my life, and I'm at a party and I am not feeling it because I'm feeling lonely inside. And a lot of the times that's how people get into relationships. They're lonely even while they're dating, and then they'll get into something like some huge commitment and completely regret that. Lonely, dating while not being healed. Dating while not being healed is really important. But see, people can date and not be completely healed and find some type of healing and understanding, seeing different perspectives and not going all in, but when you're lonely, it's a little bit different, because like when you get into a relationship and you're lonely, even though you were dating, it means that you haven't been comfortable enough by yourself. It means that you haven't found a way to fill your cup without bringing other people into the mix. You haven't put yourself in a resting place. You didn't solar plex and take the time to get to know yourself and your needs. And healing is one thing, and then being lonely is another. Because you could have healed and been like, damn, I'm lonely. Or you might have been through not really any life experience, and you're like, damn, I'm lonely. I'm going to go out dating. But when you go out dating while you're lonely, you're prone to choose people that mirror your loneliness. You get what I'm saying? So do yourself a favor. If you feel lonely, don't just go out, date all willy-nilly, and then get into something serious because, it's nice coming over every day, and she's coming over or he's coming over visiting you every day, and it just seems great. Don't do that to yourself. Enjoy spending time with them and figure out why you feel lonely. Because you can still be in a relationship and still feel lonely. You can have a great husband, great wife, great girlfriend, great boyfriend, and still feel lonely. And it's because you don't know yourself. It's because you haven't had that time to really enjoy yourself alone. You haven't had that time to be like, yeah, I don't have nobody around, but, I'm doing this and that and this project. And these are things that are fulfilling. These are things that are giving me purpose. I don't need to have somebody with me 24 hours a day or a couple days a week for me to feel like I'm validated, like I'm special, like I'm someone. Don't dehumanize yourself because you feel lonely, okay? Just understand that loneliness is just a part of being able to cope with yourself, being able to have a relationship with yourself. And healing, of course, goes hand in hand with that. Healing is a part of the process of heartbreak and being broken and hurt and feeling betrayed. In order to heal those parts of you, that does take some time. Takes time. Takes you being by yourself, but not only being by yourself, it also takes you breaking down your experiences. Breaking down your experiences. Why did you guys break up? What happened? What took you to that place? Why are you experiencing this like mourning, this pain? Like you feel like someone died in your life. You know, why are you experiencing this? No one died and they're just living their life. Like everything's okay because you're living in regret. And that's called mourning, and it's not at all called grieving. Okay? Mourning is when you're like regretting, oh my God, I could have did this, I could have did that, I could have worked it out, I could have said this, I could have did this. Kind of like what Selena Gomez was going through for a while. She broke up with the Biebs, or the Biebs broke up with her, and she was like, her life was just like, she couldn't live without him. Every song was depressing. I mean, she already kind of sings a little, you know, monotone, but she was very sad all the time, and she was always talking about how she wished she could have said this and that, and how they could have worked it out, but there was just too much. There was too much hurt between them. She had to go through the grieving process of just enjoying the good times of the relationship, enjoying what she learned dating him, you know, and appreciating the fact that he was once in her life, you know. And I feel like he went through that too. He went through that mourning process where he was just like, I regret not doing this and that, and I love her and this and that. But they didn't actually grieve. They didn't look at the good times. And that's why when they try to get back together, it fell apart. Because they didn't see what they learned. They just saw what they didn't do. So I want to close this up for you guys. Remember that these letters really show you what kind of relationship you may or may not be having. I'm sorry if there's a huge glare, but A is for a relationship of two people that are leaning on each other, depending on each other. A W is the same thing as an A, only you're adding two more people in the mix to fulfill or fill those parts of you or the relationship that you feel are dead or that are empty. And then an H is the perfect. This is for the win, y'all. That's for the win, y'all. The H. The H is the perfect relationship because you guys are looking at each other eye to eye, holding each other. Okay, I'm a terrible drawer. Holding each other's hand, facing each other. You guys are standing upright. You guys are strong enough to have a long-lasting relationship. This is what 100 looks like. This is what 100 looks like. Okay? This is good. This is good. This is good plus. It's like really good. Okay? This right here, this is literally 25, 25, 25, 25. That one makes 100 because of that. This one makes 100 too, but only because 50-50 is leaning on each other, making 100. But once those people fall apart, they'll both fall on their face, and they'll end up just flatlining. Straight up, boop, flatlining. Okay? All right, so I hope this was helpful. If you guys have more questions, you guys can definitely message me, and we could talk about this here that I shared with you guys. I'm sorry, I wish I had an office, but once I get my office together, I would gladly do some more coaching classes for you guys. And please feel free to ask me any questions. Love you guys. Thank you for your support. And please, please, please donate to Afroasiac, to our GoFundMe, because that's the only way where we will be able to fund our social media dating and coaching app, which really unites us. This is not just about dating. It's about everybody feeling included and finding a safe place to not only love, but do life with each other. So thank you guys. Wish you guys an amazing, amazing week, and much peace and respect to you guys. Love you guys. Thank you.